Welcome to the Oddity Shop, where the bizarre is always on sale.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Oddity Shop.
Also, there's a good chance you're new here, so if that's the case, welcome to the Oddity Shop, where we are going to be bringing you stories of the odd and bizarre.
Either way, thanks for being here. We're your curators, Kara and Zach. Feel free to go back and listen to our short first episode if you want to learn a bit more about us.
And without wasting too much of your time, we're going to jump right in today. So Kara, what do you have for us in the shop?
Today I have Island of the Dolls, or Doll Island. Have you heard?
I feel like I've seen a few pictures of it, and it's always looked just creepy as hell.
Yes, the pictures are actually really terrifying. They will give you nightmares.
Anytime there's a creepy doll involved, you can be pretty well guaranteed that I'm going to get nightmares. I don't know why those just hit me different.
Same. So, anyway, let's get into it. So, Island of the Dolls. So, we're going to start by talking about Don Julian Santana Barrera.
That is an absolute mouthful.
Yeah, and I hope I'm saying it right. But yes, so we're just going to call him Don, just to make it easier.
Perfect.
Okay, so Don left his family in the 1950s to live on an island. This is not really clear why. Some say he was preaching superstitions and was banned, or because he was very religious and preaching religion, which was only to be done by priests at that time, which I did not know that.
Yeah, I had no idea either.
Yeah, so apparently you could be really religious, but you couldn't preach about it unless you were a priest.
I guess it's a way to gatekeep it.
Right. So either way, this resulted in Don being beaten up a lot, which is like really sad.
Poor guy.
So I would probably want to move to an island too. So that's what he does. I'm going to try to pronounce all of this the best I can. So in the canals of Xochimilco, one of Mexico City's last traces of the Aztecs, lies Isle de la Muñeca. This is where Don chose to live out the rest of his days.
How old was he when he went here?
I'm not actually really sure. It was kind of really hard to find stuff because it's all like stories. I'll get into it a little bit more. But at this point of his journey of seclusion, it said that Don was not really in his right mind. I bring this up because most people don't necessarily believe the events that follow his move to the island. So shortly after taking residence on the secluded 1-acre island, Don claimed he found the body of a small girl that drowned in the canals. So basically, if you look this up, there's like when I think of a canal, I think of like a straight canal that I'm like going to canoe down or something like that. It's not like that. It's like almost like intertwined canals. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's like dangerous. It's not
like you can't just take a kayak across it.
Correct. So anyway, he claims he finds this small girl that had drowned. He tried everything to save her, but he failed, unfortunately. Again, let me mention Don is alone on this island, so no one can actually back up this story. So making the not right in his head theory kind of seems like it could be likely because people don't really believe that he found this child.
So this little girl could be like imaginary best friend is what we're kind of saying. Like not really in existence.
Yeah. Yes. So according to Don's great nephew, Rogelio Sanchez Santana, who is the current guardian of the island, the girl was swimming with her sister or friend and the current took her away. I just want to mention that Rogelio says that his uncle lived on the island with his wife. However, nothing else says this, so I would just assume that the family would know. I'm not really sure, though, because every other story says that Don lived on the island alone. There's this one article about his great-nephew that talks about this and says that his uncle Don lived with his wife on the island. That's the only thing I could find about it.
Maybe the mental illness runs through the family. Nephew's making up some extra people as well.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's odd because he does mention, like I said, that this little girl did drown and like she must have been playing with her friends and stuff. But like, I don't know how he would know that. So anyway, just take that as it is. I wasn't like I just said, I kind of wasn't able to find anything else about this little girl or any like missing reports or anything about this. So I really don't know where this came from. Okay. So we have a dead child strung up in the lilies in a canal in front of your hut on a secluded island. What's your move? I'm bouncing.
Okay, first off, I don't know why, but I didn't picture hut. But like, for some reason, I thought he built a house or something. So he's like, he's primitive living.
Sorry. So basically, so this is in the 50s. He's banned from living like on the other island or wherever, like with everything else. So yeah, he just has like this little hut and this little 1 acre that he just kind of took over.
Okay, so I guess though, if I'm him, right, like traumatic as it is to find a dead body, but if you want to go live in seclusion, it's better than somebody coming and joining you on the island.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm thinking I'm founding another island.
Fair.
I'm not doing this.
One with less bodies that wash up.
Exactly. So shortly after, it said a doll was found floating near where she was found, the little girl, or some say it was right next to her body or that she was holding it. So it kind of, whichever you want to go with, there's a doll found shortly after. And apparently he hears a small voice say, "I want my dolly." Absolutely no.
Now I'm getting off the island.
Ghost children are the worst. I don't care. Change my mind. You can't. Ghost children are the worst. So this is where Don comes up with the idea to make an altar with the doll to appease the child's spirit. So again, nope. But he also did this in his hut where he sleeps. Okay,
so we went from illegally practicing religion to now making shrines for dead children.
And I'm also going to put this in there is I don't even know like how he was just allowed to take this island. Like it wasn't his.
It is the 1950s and Mexico. I feel like real estate laws were probably slightly different back then.
True. But anyway, so this altar is in his hut. No. Like at least put it outside. If that's what you feel like you need to do, put it outside.
Okay, if you're trying to appease the spirit though, you got to protect it from the elements.
Make it its own hut. So I couldn't find anything else about what he did with her body. And I would just think that if there should be something about him burying it or making an altar around her grave. Like people think Don hallucinated the child because of his hermit-like state. So this would be like the perfect proof. Like, hello, here's the body. I really found her. Like, just dig up some bones, like problem solved. But I can't find anything about where her body is.
Okay, so more proof that she just isn't real.
I mean, yes. Okay. So I'll give you a little bit more background. So before Don ever thought to make Isle de la Munica his home on the island and its maze of canals were used as shelter and hiding during the Spanish-Aztec War. This lasted between 1519 and 1521. So with this island, it took in a lot of death.
Okay, so there's a maze on the island too?
Well, it's just the canal is just like a maze.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was saying before, that it's not just like your normal canals that we think of. Like these are really deadly. So most taking shelter like were women and children. Thought of being caught and raped resulted in a lot of them taking their own lives. The island was also used for others as shelter over the years, such as Mexican revolutionaries and some running from crime. This also resulted in a lot of deaths due to being found and killed, starving, or drowning in the canal system. So just like a little background on the island, like it's not really a great place.
No, I mean, it's got a terribly sad history.
Right. So yeah, a lot of death, a lot of sorrow.
It seems like it could already be haunted without having an extra little girl wash up on the edge of the canal.
Exactly. Which then makes me think it maybe could be one of the girls that like were hiding on the island during like that war. Like maybe she really wasn't really like the body wasn't really there. I'm not really sure. Okay, let's move on to the haunting. Okay, so after finding the girl, Don started hearing voices. He'd find the doll in different places. His crops started to all die. Dolls even talk to each other. So once he started collecting more dolls, they started talking to each other, which is so terrifying. Again, like I would just find a new island.
I was going to say, if I didn't leave by this point, that would be enough to make me just pack up my hut, get out.
Yeah. But no, this is when Don knew garbage picking would be his answer. Don would visit neighboring villages and pick through rubbish looking for dolls. This will obviously stop the whispering and get you fed. So,
Logical.
right. Dolls were even said to be floating near the island for him to find. Like, what the hell?
Is this by any chance like down canal from a doll factory?
I wish, because that would make this so much less creepy. Yeah, so finding dolls is one thing, but he would take any part or condition of a doll that it was in. Some are missing limbs, eyes, heads. They're rotted, spiderweb ridden, discolored, disfigured. I mean, this man spent his entire life on the island devoted to making this child happy. That's all he did was collect dolls. So dolls cover the entire 1 acre island. They're hanging from trees, fences, walls, you name it. It's completely disturbing to look at. But Don thought it was beautiful. Like, he really thought that he was doing like a really great thing for this little girl. For 5 decades, he collected dolls for her.
I thought you were going to say 5 years. And
No.
I thought that's a long time. 5 decades.
5 flipping decades.
Dedication to the art.
Holy crap. So word spread and he started letting visitors come and pay a small fee or just bring a doll in exchange to tour and take pictures. And then Island of the Dolls was born. So Don even started trading his crops because they started coming back once he started collecting all these dolls. He would trade his crops for additional dolls.
So it's working, though.
Yes, I guess. So there is said to be 1,500 dolls, and that count was based in 2013.
So when did he stop, or is he still going?
So he did pass away, but it's safe to say that he definitely didn't see an end to his collection. Like, he never stopped. Like, I think that he just thought that if he would stop, like, he would start hearing voices, being haunted again, and his crops would start dying. So he just like never stopped. So this is where it's a little weird. So in 2001, the 50th year anniversary of Don finding the little girl, Don died. So not on the same day, but just the 50th year. Okay, he dies. So most say that it was a drowning, like he drowned. But it isn't the how for me, it's the where. In the same spot Don claimed to find the little girl 50 years prior, he was found lifeless.
So is it maybe like, did he take his own life in the same sort of way, or how old is he at this point?
He was older.
Okay.
God, I thought I wrote down his age, but he was older. But it said that he probably had a heart attack and then drowned. So it wasn't like he killed himself. There was no signs of that, like him taking his life. So my question is, do you think that he was out of his mind, or did the little girl's spirit get stuck on a boring island, making her unhappy?
I mean, I'm not going to say he was in his right mind from the beginning, right? Because you get in trouble for preaching when you're not supposed to be preaching.
And again, it might not be preaching like religious stuff. It could have been like weird or superstitious things.
Oh, okay.
We don't really know what he got banned for.
Okay, I assumed he was like a religious preacher, but he could have just been like standing on the street corner.
Well, so it's said that it could go either way.
Okay. I mean, so there's obviously lots of visitors to the island. Is anybody else hearing the voices or seeing apparitions or anything like that?
I don't think so. People say it's really creepy. Like, when I was looking up claims, people say it's definitely terrified. The vibe is not okay.
Well, it's going to be creepy if a man spends decades collecting the parts from like Sid from Toy Story's broken dolls and hangs them everywhere.
I think that something darker was portraying the little girl. So there's so much negative energy on the island for one person to take in. Not to mention, dolls are known to attract spirits and become vessels because they look familiar to their life, like the life before. So I also think that when you're not in your right mind and you are closer to not being in touch with reality, you do attract that kind of stuff more.
I mean, sure. I'm going to kind of play devil's advocate on this one because it's hard for me to lean fully into haunting when it's only been experienced by one single person, right? So when you were talking about it, it kind of gave me vibes of Winchester Mystery Mansion.
Correct.
Where she had to keep building the house, right, to appease the spirits. But the thing is like, with so many visitors and it being such a popular place, like people have experiences there all the time aside from just Sarah Winchester.
Yeah, it's actually exactly like Sarah Winchester and her thought of having to keep appeasing spirits, because that's exactly what he did. Like I said, it was his entire life on the island. That's all he did was tack up dolls, collect and find them. And I have to just reiterate, it's not just dolls. It's like demented dolls, like arms gone, limbs, heads, eyeballs popped out. Like it is so terrifying that I don't even know how anybody would think that this would make anybody happy, because you see that and I'm like, no. Mm-mm.
So has anybody counted since like this last count of 1,300 to see if more are appearing? Or
1,500 in 2013, but people still go visit to this day and they will bring dolls.
Interesting.
And I'm saying, first off, I'm never visiting. But if I were, I would bring a whole suitcase full of dolls, because I'm not.
So when you go to visit, though, how are these people getting across the dangerous canal? Is it a tour, or is this more like we're going urban exploring and going to?
No, it's like a tour. So the canals are kind of more like throughout the island. You can get on. There's like a river that goes up, so you actually have to take a boat. It's like, I think it's like a 2-hour ride, if I remember correctly, to go. I watched a video on it. It was kind of cool, but it's terrifying as you start coming up to the island. Like slowly coming up to the island, you can see all these dolls like hanging from the trees, and like that's all you see. It's so creepy, like weathered, gross, decaying dolls. Like brand new dolls are scary to me. Decaying ones. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know though. I'm just kind of having a hard time with this one, just because like it's creepy, it's terrifying, it's strange and weird. But I don't know if I'd lean into the haunting on it.
I mean, his nephew definitely believes him and says that he's experienced some things on his own. But like I said, it's really hard because everything you read is so kind of all over the place. It's like to the reason like why he got kicked off. Like, how did he end up on the island? Did he have a wife with him? Did he not have a wife with him? It's very confusing. And even the article that I read about his nephew has a lot of stuff in there, but it's like, I don't even know if it's true. Like, why is there only one thing about a fan? Like, you know what I mean? Like, out of all of these articles, there's only like one little article of his and it's like his great nephew. It's not even like his nephew. Not that that doesn't matter, but you know what I mean?
I mean, right. But he's obviously like far enough removed from it that he probably didn't know any of the direct family, right? So
maybe, but
are they close in age?
No, they're not close in age. I mean, but he runs the island now.
Well, of course. Then
probably just for profit.
Right. That's what I was going to say. He's making up some extra stories here. If the one who's making money off it today is the only other person who's seeing or experiencing anything there, I'm going to lean into it being a tourist trap.
Yeah, it's hard for me. I watched a couple of videos and, you know, no one was like hearing anything or seeing anything, but the videos are terrifying in themselves. So I could see how being there, you would feel like things are watching you because you got a bunch of friggin' dolls staring at you all day.
Right, just watching their eyes track you through the woods. Is it wooded?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that just makes it 10 times worse.
Yeah, when we put up the pictures and you look at it, you're going to freak out because I don't think you can comprehend 1,500 dolls on a 1-acre island until you see the pictures.
Oh my God, I forgot it was only an acre.
Correct. It is so disturbing. So yes, I'm with you on this one. I really don't know. Because like I said, I just feel like if you were trying to maintain your sanity, I guess if you've been cared, you're trying to maintain your sanity, you'd be like, yeah, this is where I buried this little girl. Go look at her little bones. You know what I mean? Or like,
I mean, unless she was a ghost from the beginning. Too,
that's what
I mean, as much history as you have on the island.
That's what I think. I don't think there was ever a body. I think that she was probably just a ghost from the get.
If he even saw anything at all.
Right. So that is my terrifying tale of an island that I will never be visiting. Island of the Dolls. Let us know what you think, because I really don't know.
I just think it's like one of those creepy, odd places. But, you know, if anyone's been there or, you know, has tales of friends who have, let us know if they've felt anything. I would like to know like a little bit more and see if.
Yeah.
I want to hear about other experiences.
Yeah. I think it is only like $7 to get on, so it's not like it's that expensive.
I mean, that's a bargain for a fake haunted island.
Well, I don't know if it's fake yet. We don't know that.
Fair. I mean, well, thank you for enlightening me. I honestly, looking at it, you'd think there's more to the story, but it just kind of sounds like Great Nephew here is trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't want to be like calling anybody out for that, but that's kind of what it seems. However, you look at the pictures and I think that you're going to feel a little bit differently about it. Like it has to be haunted.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, hey, thanks for the story and looking forward to the next one.
Okie dokie. See you later.
See ya.
Creep it really a little, oddballs.
Talk to you next time.